are stories that do not require special effects or great actors to be told. There are lives that encompass such incredible facts that simply finding the words to tell them become an obstacle course. There are and there have been women who have made a mark on the history of the state of Idaho in an indissoluble and unique way, and Katherine Caroline Wilkins was one of those. "Can you tell us where we can find the boss?" asked one of the young cowboys, who stared in disbelief at the stunningly beautiful blue-eyed blonde woman. "I am the boss," replied the woman firmly. The two youthful cowboys had just met the legendary Queen of Diamonds, Katherine Caroline, also known as Kittie Wilkins. She was the daughter of two Western pioneers, John R. and Laura K. Wilkins. They were married in Fort Madison, Iowa, 4 years before Kittie was born in Jacksonville, Oregon in 1857. John was originally from Indiana and Laura was from Maine. Shortly after their marriage, the Wilkins joined a wagon train and followed the Oregon Trail west. They lived in Oregon City, then in the Rogue River Valley in the mining boom town of Jacksonville when Kittie was born, before they moved on to California to find more buyers for their horse trade. A gold rush brought the family to Florence, Idaho in 1862. Kittie was proud that she and her mother were the first women to arrive at the gold camp. For the next several years, the family moved often. That included stops in Washington Territory, southern Idaho, and then Boise, Idaho. In the late 1860s, they alternated between Boise and eastern Oregon. Then in 1869, John bought the long-established city market on Main Street in Boise. Unfortunately, just a month later, a fire swept along the block and totally destroyed the city market. Still, they had resources to send Kittie to school at the Sacred Heart Academy in Ogden, Utah. Kittie continued her education at the Notre Dame Covenant School in San Jose, California, the best school for young ladies in the West. She learned to play the piano, after which her parents bought her a fine Weber piano. She also traveled throughout the country to many major cities as part of her cultural enlightenment. She wasn't a tanned, hardened, rough-talking, and gun-toting woman of the Old West. A Sioux City reporter described Kittie as tall, stately blonde with fluffy golden hair, large blue eyes that have quite a knack of looking clear through one, regular features, and pearly teeth which glisten and sparkle when she smiles. And she has a habit of smiling very frequently. Her lips are red and full, and her mouth and chin denote a certain firmness of manner, no doubt acquired in her peculiar calling. Kittie loved to tell reporters about her start in the business. Neighbors bidding the Wilkins family goodbye upon one of their departures from Oregon gave 2-year-old Kittie two $20 gold pieces. Her father bought the toddler a filly, and as Kittie put it, "From the increase all of my bands have come." When her father took young Kittie on one of his trips east to a horse market, she became hooked on the business of selling horses, and within a few years of that first trip, Kittie had developed her own distinct marketing plan and could sell horses better than her father. She prided herself on selling only high-quality stock. To one Midwestern reporter, she said, "I bring the best stock to market that comes from the West. I never ship a blemished animal from the ranch. They are all sound when they leave there." Soon the time came that Kittie and her younger brothers took over their father's ranch. Her brothers concentrated on cattle ranching. Kittie took over the horse outfit. She was the undisputed boss of the Diamond Ranch, located in the Bruno Valley near Jarbidge Mountain, and became known as the Queen of Diamonds, or the Horse Queen of Idaho. She registered the Diamond brand, a brand that became synonymous with fine horse stock, and went to work branding every wild horse she could bring in. She also bought stallions from around the world to develop her stock. After this, she claimed to have no native Oregon or Spanish horses on her ranch. Kittie's marketing skills landed her contracts with lucrative horse markets in the east and as far north as Dawson City in the Yukon Territory. One of her best customers was the United States Cavalry. At one point, she was supplying 6 train cars of broke horses every 2 weeks to eastern markets. An interesting anecdote about her business was she ruled her cowboys with an iron hand, although they were hard-edged, rough-hewn characters, some of whom became notorious outlaws. But they respected Kittie, and her word was law on the Diamond Ranch. She was ready to fire anyone who disobeyed her. Cowboys who rode at the Diamond Ranch were among the finest in the world. Buffalo Bill's Wild West show hired some of the Wilkins horsemen, who became top rodeo champions. Wilkins made the biggest horse sale in the American West in 1900, when she sold about 8,000 horses to a single buyer in Kansas, who was supplying horses to the British Army for the Boer War. After the war, everything changed. Cars and machinery were taking the place of horses. Irrigation projects took over the once expansive horse ranges. She saw the changes occurring, and already a wealthy woman decided to retire from the business. She chose to spend her remaining years in a grand home in Glens Ferry. A respected Idaho pioneer, Kittie was a guest of honor at the Boise Centennial celebration. She headed the Pioneer Parade in a horse-drawn carriage. The Horse Queen's ornate saddle was put on display at the Idaho State Historical Museum, along with her portrait. Kittie had an exciting life and successful business due to her passion for horses. She had an undisputed ability to handle rifles. Her wealth, beauty, and charm were known around the world, and this woman from the West never married. She only loved one man in her life, the Diamond Ranch's top foreman. He and Kittie were engaged to be married when, tragically, Kittie's fiancé was shot in a typical range dispute over a watering hole. After that, Kittie never showed a romantic interest in any other man. She died of a heart attack at the age of 79 on October 8, 1936, at her home in Glens Ferry, and was buried in Mountain Home, Idaho. Today, unfortunately, Kittie Wilkins is virtually unknown outside of Owyhee County. Even her gravestone is wrong, spelling her name Kitty instead of Kittie. Perhaps the passing of this notable pioneer woman can best be described in Kittie's own words. When her brother and business partner John passed away just 3 weeks prior to her own death, Kittie reflected, "The years are taking their toll of these early pioneers, and few remain to tell us of the romantic beginning of the wonderful West we know. It is difficult for us in our ease and comfort of present-day surroundings to coincide of the hardships, the privations, and the suffering endured by these men and women, that they might establish and build up a country for their families and those who would follow."